So we're here at the CCA workbench, and Dave, you know, Matt gave away some of your secrets, but tonight
well, you know, they're not my secrets actually, because
I
I see alligator gars a lot, but I don't catch a whole lot of them. I got most of my secrets from a fellow named Dawson Hefner, who's a guide on the Trinity River, and he has a TexasMegaFishing.com is his website. So if you want to find out all the stuff I'm talking about, go over there and check him out. He's catching giant ones right now. This is the season, you know, in the summertime, you know, when the bass and fish gets real hot for the bass, you can always go out and catch you an alligator gar, because they're out there, they're eating right now. If they have a good spawning year, which these fish only spawn during flood times. So if it doesn't flood for a couple of years, they don't spawn for a couple of years. So that's why you can only keep one of them. Texas does a really good job of managing their garfish, and they're one of the last really good places to go fishing for them. Louisiana, you can probably catch them, but Texas is probably the best. And you know, Florida used to have some, but a lot of the bow hunters got them all, and our waters were too clear, and they could just get slaughtered. And it's a little harder in Texas. The water's a little dirtier, so a lot of them live. And not only that, they take care of them. The alligator gar is a prehistoric fish. He's got these diamond-shaped scales on him that are serrated, and he's like an armor tank. He's hard. He's a very hard fish, and he's got a giant wide mouth. He's called an alligator gar because his mouth looks like an alligator. You know, it's snub nose. Like most gars have a long snout with a lot of teeth. You'll know right away when you catch the alligator gar. It's a round, flat, just like an alligator, and he's got teeth all inside, and he's got 2 rows of teeth on the upper jaw. And he's a voracious ambush predator. You know, mainly eats fish, but and mostly forage fish. You know, he will eat a game fish, you know, if he gets a chance, but most of the time they're eating forage fish like gizzard shads and carps and whatnot. But they're just, you know, they get really big. They get up to 300 pounds, 8.5 feet. I think 279 pounds is the Texas record set back in 1951.
So what are we going to use?
Well, you're going to use a wire leader. You want to have a 3-foot wire leader, and most of the fellas use a treble hook. Their mouths are really hard, so it's hard to get a hook in their mouth. So they'll use a big treble hook. Number 3, I think this is a number 2. That should be big enough. As long as it's a 4X, you know, something that's going to hold the drag that you're going to be wanting to put on these fish. They use 130-pound test braided line on a big spinning reel. They usually like to use a bait runner type of spinning reel, because just like all gar, when they grab something, they'll swim off with it for a little while before they'll swallow it. They'll keep chewing on it and chewing on it. That's what all those teeth are for, to grab things and hold on to them. And they don't want to let them go and have to catch them again, so they'll keep chewing on something. A good rule of thumb is if it's swimming off and it stops, once it swims a little ways, you know, 20, 30 seconds, swimming, and it stops, and that's usually about the time you want to go ahead and set up on him and see if you can get a hook in him.
Like you do the mangrove snapper.
Correct. Now, the best places to fish for these are, you know, in the Trinity River, some of these deep bends. The bends in the river are the best places where there's a nice sandbar. He likes to put that like a half a carp he'll use, or 3/4 of a carp, depending on the size of the fish that are in the area, and he'll throw that in there and put it down anywhere between 4 and 15 feet deep. Put it right on the bottom. Sometimes he'll put a nice popper, a nice bobber on the top, just to keep an idea of where his bait is. Sometimes they'll use a balloon, but that's what they'll use. It's pretty simple fishing, you know. The only really different thing is you have to have that metal leader, and you know, a good 60-pound metal leader. I made these actually out of Surflon, plastic coated, and you can say just put a little lighter, twisted them up and put a lighter on them, and that's 100%. You know, very, very good. And you can build these as long as you want, 5, 6 feet, whatever.
Nice.
Because they'll roll on you.
Right.
They like to roll up in it.
And with those scales, I imagine they could cut the standard mono.
Correct.
All right, well, it's time to go to another region. I hate leaving the bench, but I got Jamie over there waiting for me, so I gotta go.
I guess so.
Where are we going, Jamie?
Well, that's okay, guys. Thanks a lot for those awesome tips on those alligator gars.